Greetings, all. This is Dr. Jones, and today we're going to give you a little brief overview of IPAS, and then in our next videos, we'll actually go in and start using IPAS to demonstrate how easy it is to use. But for now, we're going to go ahead and start to talk about it a little bit before we go actually inside in the next videos. As you can see up on the screen, there's a PowerPoint slide that really explains really the basic purpose, just the purpose of IPAS. One of the things about it is that it came about based on my observation of when I arrived in Saudi Arabia back in 2012, actually the last day of that year, December 31st, 2012. Upon coming to Saudi Arabia under a university contract, uh, I started to see that there was a vast number of different faculty from all over the world. And I was kind of excited at first because I would get to see firsthand how other instructors from different countries actually delivered content in the University of Saudi Arabia. So this is where this comes from, uh, this known fact. But what I started to realize was that the instructors were coming with very different processes and methods for delivering course content, and it really, at first, it was a concept of just adjusting and allowing people to do what they do. But as the quality process started to take hold with us and in our college, we started to see that these various differences in methods and strategies of delivering course content was rather taxing on us as we started to fulfill the quality deanship's requirements. And just to step back a minute, the quality deanship is a deanship probably in every university in Saudi Arabia, whereby they lay out the necessary requirements for quality assurance in delivery of the course and ensuring that the measure is captured, the measure of intended learning outcomes, and actually student uh, comments and recommendations are actually captured, as well as the faculty and other stakeholders. So all of this comes together uh, in the categorization of quality assurance. But with IPAS, I decided that we needed a unified platform for delivering course content. And with that in mind, being that I served 17 plus years in corporate America, uh, the the skill sets that I had and that I were utilizing then were now being utilized to bring about a system that would actually unify uh, our quality assurance requirements that we were asked to deliver at the end of each semester. So with IPAS, I actually took ideas from my work in corporate America. And one of the things in corporate America that we used back then, prior to me coming to Saudi Arabia, was the playbook. The playbook is an idea that came from corporate America, in that the best the best semester in terms of universities, but the best business cycle or the best quarter in a given company, uh, there needs to be a snapshot of that. What was going on in the cost structure at that time when they achieved the best results in the company during that quarter? That became the playbook and the blueprint for achieving these things the next quarter, and the next quarter. So IPAS came about uh, under this theme of replicating the playbook from corporate America. So basically, but it was rather simple with the university and the quality requirements because it was quite clear. Just a roll up in order to measure the program, meaning the roll up from the actual program specification and the course ILOs rolling up to the program ILOs or under the program ILOs to give a measure of performance for the whole program, whether that performance is reflected through KPIs or whether it's reflected through given courses. Once you have a roll up, you can start to dissect. And we'll talk about that feature in terms of multidimensional databases and OLAPs that also come with the IPAS product, which allow you to dissect as well. But we'll get to that later on when we discuss features. Okay, so IPAS was developed to fulfill, most accrediting agencies' quality requirements. And this is not only at the university level, but K through 12 as well. The only requirements for IPAS to actually work is that there is a stated program specification and a stated course specification or course specifications that actually roll up to the program so that the measure of performance can be done at a program level. Okay. In the case of K through 12, it'll be the actual grade representing that program level. With IPAS, the ease of this quality requirements fulfillment occurs when the normal process of instructors within the normal process of the instructor's general job functions, teaching, evaluating, and reporting. The job functions of an instructor in Saudi Arabia are simply to teach, research, and administrative duties. These administrative duties contractually are pointed at office hours and the time it takes for an instructor to prepare the course, as well as exams, uh, grading exams, grading classwork, presentations, outlining procedures for fulfillment of these different tests or quizzes or even classwork or even lectures. So this is what they mean contractually by the instructors of being able to deliver. So IPAS allows the instructor to achieve uh, the quality assurance requirements within the normal process of doing their contractual obligation or fulfilling their contractual obligations. Okay, let's go forward now into the benefits of IPAS. Click here. So the benefits of IPAS are the basic benefits. There are more, but right now we're just going to cover the basic benefits of IPAS. Okay, the first is the ease of tracking intended learning outcome performance. This is one of IPAS's strongest features. Okay, it has a four-step process that delivers this. So for the instructor, it's quite easy. It's simply they go through step one, step two, and step three. Step four is simply a view of their results. So it's really actually three steps where they're actually loading up their exam, the exam that they plan to measure. It could be an exam, it could be classwork, it could be a presentation. It does not have to be the answer key. It can be the answer key, or it does not. It's simply a record of this is what I'm evaluating the students on to assess the ILO performance. And then linking. The linking of the ILOs, this comes from the stated course specification. Okay, the course specification ILOs and how they link to the tests or the questions that are being given to the students for evaluation of the intended learning outcome performance. So this is what the linking is, where you're actually linking course ILOs, questions, Okay, that's what this is. Okay, and then you have the entered ILO results, meaning now that the exam is over and you graded the papers, how many people have answered certain questions in the classroom, the students, that represent the measure of a particular ILO. For instance, if you have 10 students and all of them answered question, say, number 5, all 10 students answered question number 5 correctly. So, and if number 5 question represents ILO 1.4 or 1.3, as in this particular slide, then that means that those students have performed ideal, or their performance was ideal. It was excellent for this particular ILO, which signifies uh, that the instructor may have delivered the content in a way that is clearly understandable, or that the students have actually prepared themselves, or both, for the exam, and particularly that question. So this is what that means. Okay, so this is the ILO performance for the ILO ease of tracking for performance level, for performance purposes. And this is what this group here is all about. And in later videos, we're going to actually go through the process of going through steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's quite easy for faculty. The next feature is reporting target outcomes. This feature where is one where we go directly into the performance of ILOs, but from a standpoint of the entire actual exam. So if you look here, this is the ILO mapping header, and in this header, we're selecting the course code and the course CRN. The course CRN for most universities and most faculty, this is a more than likely a numeric a numeric field. It's a number that represents the unique section of a particular course. Because as we know at the university level, a course can be taught 4 or 5 times throughout the week, but different classes. So this CRN, or course number, is a unique number for each section. No section has the same course number, or CRN. Okay, so for this particular feature, the ease of reporting target outcomes. What this is, IPAS calculates the target outcome based on prior instructor grade distribution and makes an adjustment based on the number of students currently enrolled in the course. What does this mean? This means that one instructor can have 10 students in MGT 345, in MGT 346. Another instructor can have 50 students in MGT 346, different CRNs. What that means is that their initial target, or their forecast, as we say in corporate America, the forecast, but for quality purposes, the word that's used is target, the target outcome. The target outcome will fluctuate. And the rule is a faculty member has more a greater chance of effective course delivery when there are a lower number of students. In other words, the faculty to student ratio. If the faculty to student ratio is low, that means that course delivery, that means that the expected forecast for performance should be high because there are only a few students. Whereas if that faculty member has a lot of students, say 50 or 60, then the initial forecast will adjust. It will adjust lower because 50 students makes it very difficult or highly challenging for a faculty member to actually uh, 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 reach every student in that class in terms of course delivery or ILO content being delivered. Okay, so this is what this is saying. So if you look at this really quickly, it's simply saying that this particular instructor taught this particular course. This is the actual section, and they measured the ILOs. Okay, the intended learning outcomes for given a major exam, a major 2 exam, a final exam, a quiz, and classwork. Okay, and overall 29 students was assessed for the major exam, Okay, the initial forecast was 72. In other words, the forecast based on historicals is that 72% of this class will pass that major exam or will perform well on the given ILOs overall. Okay, that is what this is saying historically because of this number. Okay, this number of students. So this is what the reporting target outcomes really does. It actually gives them a target at the beginning of the class based on historicals of faculty that have taught the course in previous semesters. Let's move on. Another feature of IPAS is tracking KPIs. Tracking KPIs. Okay, the KPIs are usually given by the quality deanship of a given university. But the program coordinator, in conjunction with the chairman in Saudi Arabia, that is, can add more ILOs. I'm sorry, add more KPIs. I'm sorry about that. Add more KPIs to be measured. So in IPAS, you have the ability to measure KPIs, whether they're related to the faculty demographics, faculty education, the ILO performance, or even the surveys. And we'll talk about the surveys later. The surveys that are given to students. The three traditional surveys as outlined by the NCAAA, the course evaluation survey, the student evaluation survey, and the program evaluation survey. That is also included in IPAS. And we'll show that later in later videos, how to actually retrieve the results of the survey for a particular class. Okay. Now, the next feature is the course file repository. This is a very powerful feature. This feature was actually one that came out of a recommendation from another American colleague of mine. I never forget him. I'm going to go ahead and mention his name, Dr. Louis Jagosinski. He actually was designated by our department to run a file closet where the DQD, or the Deanship of Quality, required us to hold all of our hard copies of exams, results of exams, surveys, results of the surveys, the program, those are attended outcomes. It had to have hard copies in notebooks filed in a particular file closet or file room. So we designated Dr. Louis Jagosinski to actually coordinate this and perform audits with these courses and hard copies. So this created a huge mess for us. So out of his frustration, he came into my office and requested something electronically. So this became a feature in IPAS based on his request. Okay, the electronic course file closet. Okay, what this does is this actually holds all of the inputs that is required in order to fulfill quality assurance for that particular course. And so if you look at this particular class, and we're back on the same class, 346. By the way, MGT 346 is a project management course. Okay, and this is the actual section, and this is the actual instructor. It was taught in the fall semester of 2017. Okay, what it does is it holds all of the documents in a repository, all of the documents, so that a notebook would not be required. In other words, the quality deanship can actually log into IPAS and go to the electronic file closet and get all of the required documents to measure the level of quality assurance based on the documents that were uploaded. So this feature is a very powerful feature and a cost savings feature. Closet with notebooks for different sections, and everyone having to turn in all of their required documents. And as I stated before, in discussing the CRN, this particular field, there are multiple sections and multiple instructors teaching this both on the male and female side in the university. Thus, the amount of paper that accumulates just for one class is tremendous and a huge waste of money. So this feature kind of answers the question of the 2020 digital transformation that Saudi Arabia was implementing. This particular feature in IPAS do away with paper in terms of quality assurance. Okay, because now the quality deanship can actually evaluate any class at any time without the instructor present. They can see all of the information uploaded for any class at any given time. This is truly an amazing feature. I dedicate this feature to Dr. Louis Jagosinski. Never forget it. The next feature, consolidation. Now that all the information is loaded into IPAS, whether it's the linking of the ILOs, the result, the actual performance on each section, we can see that. The actual ILO performance based on the forecast, the red line going across represents the forecast. The performance, the actual performance in the classroom, represents how the student performed against the given course ILOs going across. Not only that, in IPAS, we can actually compare performance across instructors teaching the same class. Okay, so here it is. 3 instructors taught this particular project management course, and here's their performance. The red, once again, demonstrates the forecast, and the blue demonstrates the actual performance of the students. Okay, and then we have a breakdown based on each evaluation material given to the students for evaluating ILO performance, whether it was a major 1 exam, major 2, a quiz, final exam, or classwork. Okay, so these are some of the features and benefits of IPAS. Last but not least, reporting services, because we also know that in IPAS, when I built it, that there are basic documents that need to be completed at the end of each course. And the NCAAA makes this clear. And one of them is the course report. The course report is the one that has to be done. So what we've been able to do in IPAS, and we've been able to replicate using reporting services to build an IPAS reporting services that will allow the instructors, upon completing the ILO process, as mentioned here, okay, the steps here, generates the actual course reports for them. So there's no need to actually manually create a course report. This goes back to the single platform mentioned in the first tab of this discussion. Okay, the first tab, the single platform by the faculty. This brings it all together, the reporting services. Okay, the audit, internal audit. IPAS has an internal audit that tracks every user that logs in. It tracks every user that logs in, what instance they went to, and what action they performed. Okay, the time they performed it. Okay, so this is something in terms of internal control. The email system. IPAS has an email system on every instance page. So if an instructor sees something, or if the program coordinator is in IPAS reviewing courses, he or she can pull up or click the email instance, pop up, and email that particular faculty member immediately to get some type of clarification if needed. The power of the surveys, as I said before, IPAS holds the actual surveys of the students, okay, in terms of the course evaluation surveys, the student evaluation surveys, and the program evaluation surveys. And it actually keeps an historical and compares the actual current class surveys against the previous historical surveys of students that took that same class in previous semesters. This is a very powerful uh, uh, actual report here. It shows that the class that's actually being taught currently and the historicals against this class. Okay, so there's a concept when I built IPAS, this concept of comparing actuals to past performance. In some cases, the universities do not have uh, uh, past performance to compare against. In some cases, it is not actually feasible to use other universities as a comparison or a benchmark, whereas actually historicals would be a more finer, a more clearer, a more better comparison. So in IPAS, we have the ability to do both. Okay, we can enter benchmark capabilities, okay, and benchmarks in terms of universities, doing the same program, or we can use historicals from our current program. And historicals from our current program has a unique ability to track organic growth. That means growth of the program from within, okay, in terms of student performance and faculty performance. Next, we have to acknowledge the fact that IPAS was built in Saudi Arabia. I built this inside the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So, with respect to that, IPAS has the ability to be given an instance in Arabic. So, it has an Arabic and English instance, okay, where it can actually convert on the fly each screen to Arabic so that the Arabic user can understand it and benefit as well. Now, this feature, the zip grade feature, this feature is a very powerful feature. If you go back for a second, let's go back to the benefits for a second. This step, entering ILO results. The process of calculating ILO results is tied to the grading of exams. What do I mean? Because we linked the course ILOs or program ILOs to an exam, to exam questions. Okay, as we grade the exams, simultaneously we are collecting the information for ILO performance. Okay, this is all good. However, for some faculty who have 50 or 60 students, how will that be in terms of measuring or recording ILO performance on 50 or 60 students? This can take a long time. So one of the features that we have in IPAS is ZipGrade. ZipGrade is a third-party application whereby it allows the faculty to scan examination results. And once the examination results are scanned, it also creates a tally for the ILO performance for the class in terms of a CSV file. IPAS has the ability to take that CSV file, upload it, and enter the results automatically for the instructor. So instructors that have 50 or 60 students, 100 students, it doesn't matter. If they use the ZipGrade capability, it will generate the ILO tally for the entire class. How every student performed on each ILO in a tally and enter it into step 3 here automatically. Thus, a faculty member with 5 students, the time it would take them to enter ILOs for 5 students, it wouldn't matter if they had 100 students. And this is what the ZipGrade integration does for those faculty members with huge classes. And with that, I'm going to close this actual talk. I don't call it a presentation, but it's a talk on what IPAS is. IPAS is an application that is actually developed under the Drytail LLC. The Drytail LLC is an American company. It was built in 2011 by me, Dr. Jones, before I came to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Drytail stands for Data Reporting extraction, transformation, and load. Okay, so this concept of extracting data across various platforms was something that was done on a daily basis by me and my team. And so we came together and formed Drytail for the very purpose of building applications much like IPAS. Thank you for your time, and you have a very good day.